Welcome, listeners, to today's episode of the Black Business Roundtable. I am ready for Christmas 2022, show enough now. I am your host, Doug Blacksher, broadcasting to you live with our 1-hour holiday special from the City of Diversity, Oakland, California. We have today holiday food prepared live from the talented chef Michauxne'e Olier, sharing another scrumptious recipe, and a new friend of the show stopping by to also say hello later in the show. I am excited, as always, to share this podcast platform with my ride or die sister, Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology, and a blessing to us all. Thank you, Donnie Glover of the BlackUSA.News, for the honor, Donnie, of the Black Business Roundtable being a part of the growing network dedicated to bringing the real unfiltered news before the news. Let's get it started as we have. I don't have a cocktail, folks, but I do have a wonderful bottle of wine from my brother, Chad of Wilshire Wine. And this was part of the event last week with Tammy Willis. But bring your cocktail and enjoy the show today for our special 1-hour Black Business Roundtable on BlackUSA.News podcast show. Today, December 22nd, 2022, as noted by the National Day Calendar, it is National Gifting Day. And that's National Gifting Day, hashtag National Regifting Day. And once again, National Regifting Day. I want to make sure we get that right now. National Regifting Day, hashtag National Regifting Day. We also continue to celebrate National Pear Month, hashtag National Pear Month. Thank you to the National Day Calendar for these national events. Some current events of the day, and they are hot. Some current events of the news today. Somebody may have their taxes released. They might be, could it be Santa Claus? Is it Rudolph and the Red-Nosed Reindeers? Is it the gifter with the 99 NFT, non-sufficient funds card, Donald Trump? It sure the hell is, audience. And about time. Are the walls closing in on the Teflon Don just a little? So that Teflon is kind of wearing thin now. So we'll put a shout out for Teflon Don, Donald Trump getting his tax opened up, and we finally find out what he's doing with his money and what he's not doing with his money. Definitely not paying his fair share of those multi-millions that he claims he has taxes. To that end, we can dream a little. Dream, can't we all? According to the newspaper, it seems like the Alameda County Registrar of Voters, due to not having received the funds needed for the recount from those calling for the recount, ends in forfeiture. So it's finally resolved. We have a new mayor of Oakland, California. So Shane is in the bang. See you June 9th at the edition, because I will be sitting up front watching Johnny Ramachandran, District 4, Kevin Jenkins, District 6, and Mayor of Oakland, California, Mayor Shang-elect Shang Tao will be getting inaugurated on January 9th, and I will be watching all my Oakland winners. Congratulations. Congratulations. This week's Black Business Roundtable, thumbs up. I had your food for a minute. Thumbs up goes to the planners of both of District Attorney of Alameda County, Pamela Price, my friend, and the newly elected mayor of Oakland, Mayor Shane Tao, who I endorse. January swearing in ceremony and inauguration. Folks, let's be clear here. If you're not in the house, you're going to miss a gang of fun. So make sure you join the inauguration parties that are scheduled on January 9th, 2023, as we usher in a more progressive leadership, elected leadership in Oakland, California. I'll see you there because I'll be sitting front row. This week's Black Business Roundtable thumbs down goes to who made the Black Business Naughty List in 2022 this week. Hashtag Black Business Roundtable Naughty List 2022. And recount efforts started in the mayoral race for Oakland, California by the Oakland branch of the NAACP that failed and ended in a forfeiture and a win for the mayor-elect Shane Tao. And let's get that real clear and on the table. As you all know, I am a fighter for anybody who is for all people. And I received a rash of negativism when I personally, in the Black Business Roundtable, endorsed Mayor Shane Tao. So this mayoral race is over. I humbly ask that we come together like that fist, unite as a Democratic Party, and address the issues that are devastating and plaguing the people of this city. And I'm talking about the people who have been disenfranchised for decades. Thank you. On that note, remember, if you are going to clown the Black Business Roundtable, we'll give you a thumbs down. Today's show highlight. Today, our mouths water. And I'm talking about, I can't wait for the sister. And I got a glass of wine. I'm going to put my pinky out today, and we're going to have a glass of wine and enjoy the show. Today's show highlights, our mouth water once again over yet another dish by Chef Michauxnee. We also have a brief introduction to my new friend and my brother, newly elected council member, Kalimah Priforce of Embryville, California. We are bringing that brother in this circle here because we want young, progressive powerhouses to start taking this town back and this county back for all people. So keep your eye on this young brother who I met at Alameda County Democratic Central Committee, and I saw his commitment, his fight, his drive. He's one of our future leaders, folks. And future? Well, he's future me next month because he's elected already. Oh, I kill myself. Also, I can't wait. And all we need is a cocktail. And I'm ready. So I have my cocktail, and I hope my co-host has hers. Oh, there she is. I've already got my dose of Dr. Ashley. I'm coming back down.
How are you?
Down. Join me in everyone's favorite relaxer of our mind, Dr. Ashley Coleman, as we give you the latest and greatest right here on the Black Business Roundtable, December pre-Christmas and New Year's holiday show, 1 hour special for the last show of live show for the year 2022. My co-host, my ride or die, my sister, my friend, my colleague, and any other adjective that I could think of for having somebody who I'm loyal to, and we're loyal to each other.
Yes, indeed.
Today we include, as we always, weekly check-in with there I go again, it's Christmas, I get a pass, with our very own Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology, tenured and immediate past department chair, Assistant Professor of Psychology at University of the West. Hello, Dr. Ashley.
Hi, Doug. How are you?
Yep, you're on mute.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Oh,
you can't hear me?
It is.
Hold on, let me see. How about now? Good evening, listeners, and welcome to our holiday special. Doug, you checked out? Okay, great. So, Doug, you'll be back. But again, greetings to our listeners. Happy Therapeutic Thursdays. I'm really looking forward to what Chef Michauxnee is going to be sharing with us. And I think in her last visit, she mentioned going dry this season. So, Doug, while I'll allow you to have your wine, I'm going to be looking forward to some mocktail recipes. And so hopefully she can share that with me. And us in the audience. In addition to, as Doug mentioned, Council Member Kalimah Priforce coming and speaking with us, we also have Chef Michauxnee, board member of Sankofa Garden, Oakland, and collaborates with nonprofit organizations such as Missy, motivating, inspiring, supporting, and serving sexually exploited youth, Youth Uprising, Boss Oakland, again, building opportunities for self-sufficiency to create safe spaces for growth and education for people who want and need it the most. So we have a star-studded lineup on this Power Hour show and special holiday edition. So let's continue so that we can welcome our guests. Let's just touch base on the national political highlights. Again, we're keeping it light today. As many of you know, again, the Ukrainian president made a visit to the US and appealed to Congress yesterday. So we encourage you to take a break from the news a little bit, enjoy family and friends over the holiday season, and then we'll pick that up next week and figure out what's going on locally and nationally. I will segue. I know we said we're keeping it light, but I am going to segue to the news of the day. Doug, can you hear me now? Okay.
I'm back.
Okay, good.
Dr. Ashley and folks, audience, listeners, that is what makes this show incredible, because we are able to have technical issues, any other kind of issues, and bounce back. And that is what life is about. Mm-hmm. Everything is not going to always be perfect. Mm-mm. And successful people find a way to turn straw into gold. Mm-hmm. And on that note, my producer just told me we're behind. So Dr. Ashley, we want to immediately get into the national. Can you take that? Because I think you read faster than me.
Actually, we did. Now we're going to news of the day.
Woo!
I'm going right into it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Teamwork. Sometimes audience, we throw, sometimes we hand off. I'm ready.
Audience, we only meet once a week on the show, and we rebound. We could be the warriors of the podcast. We
could, but since today, I must let you know I'm wearing my festive All I Want for Christmas is Kobe Bryant sweatshirt, which is something I've had since 2014. And for our viewers that watch the show visually, I have him over my shoulder. So I will allow us to say the Warriors or the Lakers. We'll have a truce today. But again, for the news of the day, just want to acknowledge the Equal Justice Initiative calendar, who they keep us abreast on history that is hard to hear at times, but we have a responsibility to know what our ancestors went through and also to prevent this from recurring. So on this day, December 22nd, 1853, Alabama sheriff advertises planned sale of an enslaved Black man. And again, this calendar can be accessed by visiting the website calendar.eji.org. Want to invite all of our listeners to our audience to visit the website to see the actual snapshot of the newspaper clipping. And it's very visually jarring, but by virtue of an execution to me directed by the Office of the Circuit Court of Macon County in favor of John McGar, I will proceed to sell at public sale to the highest bidder for cash before the courthouse door in the town of Tuskegee on the first Monday in January. One Negro boy, Bob, about 23 years of age, levied on as the property of said defendants. And so, again, I'm kind of speechless in seeing this, but of course, as we know about our history, the idea of the bodies of Black men, women, and children enslaved in the U.S. were assigned monetary values throughout their lives. And it goes on to talk more about the domestic slave trade, again, that occurred in our country and is such painful history. The viewing of humans as commodities to be exchanged and included in transactions and dehumanized. And we know that Black people are invaluable, but it's very important for us to see these clippings and to understand the consequences and the legacies that have been birthed in this country from this inhumane practice. So I'll leave it there since we're keeping it light, Doug.
And on that note, audience, I'm going to be brief because I've just got another text from my producer saying, Doug, shut it down or I'm going to put your mic off. It's why it's so important to vote. We have a progressive slate of leaders, newly elected people. For everyone who has been on this show, I will back you 199.999% because we have to move this city, this county, and Emeryville. We're going to adopt Emeryville to Oakland. We're going to support all our newly elected leaders, and every vote counts. Dr. Ashley, please take it away.
Thank you. So just wanting to do a check-in before we do want to acknowledge our sister Tashmir is in the comments. Hey, Blackout Live on Saturday mornings. I want to invite our audience as we're, again, getting more embracing Christmas, Kwanzaa, if you're celebrating Hanukkah and preparing for the new year. I did an exercise today with another person and I want to share it here. Many times when we're taking inventory of the year, we often focus on losses, things that were unfinished tasks, and that can really produce feelings of frustration, disappointment, and a negative critical self-talk loop. So as I've been saying throughout the year, we've been in season 3 of a pandemic. Many of us have persevered. We're still here. And so I think I want to invite our audience to take inventory of your wins and losses, no matter how small or large. Wins first, losses, and then look at turning your losses into lessons. What did you learn from the experience? If there's a choice you made and in hindsight and with more information and with more resources, you would do it differently, forgive yourself. Be patient with yourself. Hold yourself accountable, and yet you can commit to making a different choice. But I think these last 3 years have been a blur. I can't believe we're entering into 2023. And I think it's important to pause. Many of us have been in survival mode, and yet we've been persevering and doing things well. And so I want to invite all of you to do an inventory of your year. What are the wins? What are the losses? Acknowledging those. Those are painful to acknowledge. Doing it without judgment. and then figuring out what are the lessons and what are you committing to in the future. Many times we may set goals that are too ambitious, or we're not thinking of the smaller steps of progress that we've made, and we just look at things are all or nothing. Either I did this or I didn't do this. Where did you have momentum? Where can you pick up where you left off? Where did you grow from last year? So not just looking at in the health community, we look at sometimes non-scale victories, right? Sometimes if we look at the scale and we're exercising, we're eating right, it's not moving, but maybe there's, maybe you feel stronger. Maybe there's inches or your clothes are fitting differently, right? Maybe you're getting up those flight of stairs easier. So again, be compassionate with yourself. I understand we're business owners, we're professionals, we want to be our best selves, but doing that within context. We can't keep going without acknowledging where we've come from. So chart your wins, chart your losses and lessons, show yourself gratitude and reward yourself for still being here. Get the support you need to reach your goals. Get a support team, kind of evaluate the people around you. Is this a great time to get into therapy starting the new year? And then look forward to 2023 with making those commitments to yourself. So as always, an invitation. If this is a time when you think you could benefit from working with a trusted professional who's trained to help you reach your goals in a unbiased setting, then reach out to therapyforblackgirls.com, therapyforblackmales.org, looking through Psychology Today, or also using your insurance panel, if you have one, to access resources. If during the time of the holidays, this can be a very troubling, trying time, we know, and challenging, loneliness in parts of the country. They're preparing for an Arctic blizzard, so there may be some isolation. Please do not suffer in silence. Reach out. You can dial 988 24/7, 365 and be connected with a trusting, warm voice who's there to support you and help you to access resources. You can also text 741-741 if you prefer to engage with someone via text message versus phone call. Please do not go through this holiday season alone. We're here to help.
On that note, Dr. Ashley, thank you. I have gotten us behind, but we have audience. I hope you're sitting back, because this young brother, I met him and he has just taken off like a phoenix out of the ashes. Woo, woo. I'd like to next up on our show, welcome for the first time, newly elected council member Kalimah Priforce. We only have you for about 5 minutes, but could you tell our audience how we met? Thank you, sir.
Well, of course, happy holidays to you, sir, and to Dr. Coleman, and hi, and to your whole team putting this together. Just how important the Black Business Roundtable is. We need more media representation, especially our media representation that can key in on our amazing entrepreneurs and businesses, and also the politics. Because politics in the East Bay, isn't it interesting? So I met your brother at one of the I believe Alameda County AC-Dems meeting, and I was just there to observe and introduce myself if possible. But you actually intentionally made sure that I was able to introduce myself to everyone, and then we spoke after the meeting, and I really appreciate that. And now, of course, my name is being circulated, so the lesson learned, Democrats, is bet on Doug, because the people who he bets on are winners.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before you ask the question, Dr. Ashley, but I have to say, when I saw you walk in, I knew I was going to recruit you. And I want to say, I humbly thank you for taking my advice. And audience, this is the type of participation that we need all across America. Either you're going to promote them to get in, or you're going to get in. but be a part of the political process, Black people of America, because either you're at the table or you are on the menu.
That's right.
And Kalimah, I welcome you back to the show. Dr. Ashley, please go ahead.
Yes, but we only have one more question with Kalimah before, because I know we're having you back on January. It says 19th, the 26th, and then we're keeping you and inviting you into February. But let's see, Kalimah, with 60 seconds or less. Let me ask a question. What's one change you want to see in Emeryville? That's the first part. And the second part is, what is one thing you do for your mental health?
Thank you. So, well, first, I want to promote that I'm also running as a delegate for the Assembly District 18. So I want to mention that. And I'm a part of an amazing slate of true progressives like Elisa Victory and so many other really amazing folks. And so please, if you haven't registered to vote, please register to vote for this election. You can go to AD18, the number 18 for the people.com to learn more. So in answer to your question, it's bringing Emeryville back into the fold, into the map. I know that our sister cities of Oakland and Berkeley are known for their activism and known for social justice. And I want to make sure that Emeryville is a part of that tradition. And so even it's as simple as I was just in City Hall today, and I'll be messaging the city clerk and let her know I noticed that that there aren't any Kwanzaa decorations, even though we have Black staff there, and we have a significant portion of Emeryville population that are African American. So sometimes it's the little stuff, and then it's the big stuff, like increasing African American home ownership in Emeryville. And so, and of course, I'll be helping to do that across the East Bay. But I know we don't have a lot of time. So I just want to thank you all for allowing me this spotlight and for supporting our slate, the People Slate.
Well, let me say this, Dr. Ashley, before we close out.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You have just been adopted to the Black Business Roundtable, which airs coast to coast and from Mexico to Canada and several other countries. We support what you're doing out there. We support you, and you know how I go.
Yes, sir.
So you got my support, young brother. Keep up the good work and let us know what you're doing. We look forward to seeing you next month twice, and following that a week in February. Thank you very much for giving us the time today. Thank you, sir. Well, audience, we have some food preparation. Oh my God. I'm drinking my wine, and all I can think of, she only lives about 11 minutes away in San Leandro. So if I get good and hungry, I'm going to call and say, I got 5 on it. I know you coming through. All right. Welcome back to the show. Chef Michauxnee, a.k.a. The Busy Wife 2017. Dr. Ashley, please.
Hi, Chef Michauxnee. How are
Hi,
you?
everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can, and I'm telling you, we're so excited to see you again. Thank you for joining us. What do you have in store for us today?
Well, following some of the family traditions of the holiday, most during Thanksgiving we have our turkey and our roast, and sometimes we do roast during Christmas. But a lot of folks make gumbos and seafood dishes during the holiday season. So I decided to do a seafood boil today.
Let me get my notebook. Yes.
The seafood boil is fun because it's super easy and you can modify things however you like. And this is one of my spins on it.
Okay, take us away. We're ready. Doug,
let me start off with
your house, Chef Michauxnee. I just want to give you a disclaimer. He already said that he's
all good. If he comes for Christmas, I'm gonna make a big batch. This is a small version of what I'm gonna make on Christmas Day, only because I'm doing some other cooking for folks. I said I was not gonna cook on Christmas, but I do have a girlfriend that's going through some hard times. Hands up.
I'd like to say before you get started, audience, all across this country, this woman provided a outstanding platform of food and foods, cupcakes, snacks, etc. at the Women's Council of Associated Real Property Brokers. That auction that put Tammy Willis, president, personally on the map again. And we want to thank the catering services of Chef Michauxnee, which is amazing. Professional staff, outstanding food. And I had to throw that shout out for you. But go ahead.
I appreciate that. But let me show you guys what I'm sipping on this afternoon, since we're having adult beverages. I'm not drying out today. So okay. I am a whiskey and scotch girl. I like bourbons as well. So Macallan 12 is one of my all-time favorites. This is the first one of the series. It's the most affordable as well, but it's delicious. It has notes of ginger and apple and honey in it. So it's got a nice, oh, there you go. Oh, you got your wine. They have the best wine.
With Shira.
So I'm doing my whiskey scotch whiskey blend. This is following my mother's footsteps. She was a Scotch lady. So that's what I'm going to sip on while we go through this. But Doug, thank you for that shout out. That was really nice. I appreciate it. It was fun to work with you guys. It was fun to watch people eat up all that food. And they went in. I like doing grazing boards and tables because it gives people, it gives me creative control, and it gives people a chance to see snacks that they in a different light that they wouldn't necessarily put together in one platform. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna jump right into this seafood boil. I'm gonna do a big version of this for my family for Christmas. I've been buying things here and there over the last couple of months because it tends to get expensive, especially when you're adding king crab legs and lobster tails and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I encourage everyone to go to Costco, get your stuff, a little bit at a time, put it in the freezer if you're going to do a big spread. But this one, I'm going to do a small one. This version today will feed 2 people, 3 if you're not too greedy. There are ways to scale down, and sometimes it's hard to do that. Right? I'm used to cooking for the masses, so it's sometimes a little challenging to cook just for myself or for me and my partner. So today we're going to start with I've already started. I got my little, you guys can't see it over here, but I got my little burner going. Let's see that. Let's see. You see that? So this is a portable burner. It's a butane burner. I usually use it when I'm cooking outside, but it's working for inside. And in this pot, I put some water, a little bit of chicken and tomato bouillon, just to give it some base flavors. I've already got a couple of potatoes in there because they take the longest to cook, and I have some small baby potatoes, some baby red potatoes, cut them in half, little white potatoes. I like the rainbow potatoes. I like colorful food. We got some corn that's going to go in there. We got our hot links because I'm partial to hot links, and those things can go in first. I would always start with my potatoes because they take the longest to cook. And then your sausage and your chicken. The sausage is going to help season that broth that's brewing right now too. The seafood goes in very last because it cooks so quickly. You don't want rubberized shrimp and seafood, especially when you're spending a lot of money on this stuff. Right. You let this stuff cook a little while, and then you can start adding your seafood once everything comes to a nice simmer. The potatoes are fork tender, then you can start throwing your seafood in. One of my twists on this is that I add a sofrito. And a sofrito is, and if you guys can see that, this is a blend of tradition. Let me step back a little bit. Traditionally, in Afro-Latino and Latino communities, sofrito is a seasoning base, the same as our Trinity, the onions, bell pepper, and celery. So this is a blend of garlic, purple onion. I put red and yellow bell pepper in here, and watercress. And I used the watercress instead of cilantro because I didn't want it to take on that Spanish twang. The watercress has a peppery flavor to it, and it brightens up everything. And this is just going to cook in with your broth. It's going to make everything pop. It's going to bring out more flavor. When you add your salts to it, it's going to heighten everything up. And it's going to give it a freshness that we kind of miss sometimes in these boils. There's not a lot of vegetables going in, so this is a good way of hiding vegetables in your seafood boils too.
Ah, okay.
And you can put as little or as much as you like. To me, the more the merrier. That's just my thoughts on it. Anytime you're cooking with your base vegetables, it's not going to overpower because everything here has a lot of flavor. The corn has the sweetness. The red peppers are going to mesh with that. All the sweetness in the seafood. There's salt in the hot links. There's spice in the hot links. So you can build and then add. I always add the salt last because, yep. Question, Doug?
If I get off the screen again, if you look outside, you see a white truck outside, I'll be on my phone saying, "Hey, I'm here."
You can come and get it because by the time I'm done, I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm
My
just
son was
telling
like,
you. I was almost in the car heading your way, and I said, "Doug, you got to finish the show out." Go ahead,
well, I'm gonna throw the invite out there. If you guys aren't too busy on Christmas Day, I'm gonna be around here with a big, giant pot of this, doing a whole lot of nothing. I plan to take the rest of the year and January off and focus on getting the restaurant together. I'll still be working with the Burgess brothers and doing all the football stuff since the 49ers have made the playoffs. Yay, Niners. I'm not a fan, but I'm a fan.
Right.
Real quick, I'll be working with the mayor's office from day one, helping to identify small businesses so you can imagine where you finna go.
I appreciate that. And I will like to, I haven't shared with anyone besides my grandmother, but I was the recipient of a small business grant from Alameda County this year. I got an email Monday morning and a check was in the mail Monday afternoon, and it was much appreciated. So I already feel the love and the blessings pouring into the new year and helping me get to doing what I'm trying to do and what I want.
That's wonderful. So, congratulations.
I wish you guys could smell through the screen because now that we have these base vegetables in here, it smells like heaven. It doesn't smell like a traditional boil because it's not, right? The sofrito changes it up a little bit. But I'm still going to use the same spices and things that I normally would. And those spices, so I have my little bowl of spices. I have some crab oil in here, and that's the salt, right? It's salty. It's got lemon oil in it. It's got paprika, and it's got a little spice to it. So that's why it's used. It complements really well. But you have to be careful because it's very salty. I blend that with a salt-free mix that I make of garlic powder, a little smoked paprika, onion powder, or I like granulated onions powder and garlic powder more than powders. But there's pepper in here. There's some thyme, and all these are dry ingredients: thyme and some parsley. And all that together is kind of part of that's my traditional Creole base. The parsley, thyme, garlic, onion, and paprika, smoked and regular paprika.
Smoked and regular, okay.
So that's when I start my season line, that will be the first one that comes out. And everything will be salt-free, so you can add your own salt. We want to keep in mind that we suffer the most from high blood pressure and cholesterol and things like that. So I try to be mindful of that when I'm cooking or creating things that people can take home so that they can season it for themselves with the salt that they want. I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to be responsible for that. So as this is all cooking, you just throw some of your spice in there and let it go. Once your potatoes are fork tender, that's when you're going to add all that other stuff. And I did put a little, like a quarter, it's a small pot. So maybe I put maybe 2 tablespoons of butter in here. Okay. So you get that buttery flavor. And if I want to, at the end of this, I can make a sauce out of this. I can make a roux with some butter and take this and make that a base. Add a little more paprika to it to change the color of it. And then pour that over your finished product to give you that glistening, buttery gooiness that we all like on seafood. The potatoes are just about done because I started them early. And this is a quick dish. It doesn't take all day. The seafood's going to cook really fast. So what I have for seafood today is I took the lobster tail. I didn't cut it in half perfectly, but I slid it in half. Okay. I'm going to drop that in there. The other half, we got some crab legs.
Mm.
We cleaned them and got them all pretty. Gonna drop those in there. And I got some tiger prawns. I'm not gonna peel these prawns. And the reason why is because I like to eat with my hand. These are easy peel tiger prawns. And so they're already cleaned. I rinsed them off and made sure that there was no extra stuff in the backside. And we're gonna drop them in. Go ahead, Doug.
What time will you say that will be ready?
In about 5 minutes.
Oh my God. Okay. And most importantly, the time factor. Audience, you hear people talk, it takes 2 days to put something like this together. Chef Michauxnee, let me tell you something. When I was down at your restaurant, every dish that I had down there was a dish to die for. So audience,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So when this year, and I have a feeling it's going to be a good year because I'm going to be a part of that. But we need to get you back out here in Oakland, and
I'm coming
because our restaurant, our Black restaurants are like non-existent anymore. You know, we have a few, but we don't have Michauxnee, the busy wife.
I'm coming. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back with a vengeance. I have nothing to prove and everything to gain. I'm excited to be able to. I'm actually working on the menu now. It's part of my business plan. And in the past, how I would create a menu is I'd wake up after I've been thinking about too many things for too much time and just start writing, and then hand it to my staff like, "This is what we're making." They're like, "You haven't shown us how to do any of this. What is any of this? How are you going?" So I usually stress myself out, but I'm trying to take my time and not do that. But no, most of the things that I make outside of oxtails, of course, they take a lot of time, but most of the food that I make, I try to do 30 minutes or less, depending on what it is. Time is very important. You know, if you can make a good meal in a short period of time, it gives you more time to not only enjoy the meal, but the people you may be sharing it with, right? And it gives you time to keep doing stuff, to keep moving in the kitchen. And learning to scale things up to larger batches. Of course, larger batches take a little bit longer, but we learn to work smarter, not harder, in this whole scheme of things. But this is just about done. The seafood itself takes about 3 to 5 minutes to cook. Everything's boiling, and I'm gonna turn it down to a lower boil. But it's fresh corn, so the corn's not gonna take long. You don't want it overcooked so it's mushy. The potatoes are the only thing that take a long time to cook. Even the sausage, when you buy packaged hot links and things, they're already cooked. So you're just getting them hot all the way through and letting some of that oil escape, right? So you're not biting into a greasy mess.
Somebody is putting information out there that, Doug, I'm gonna attack you if you get over to her house before me.
That will be our producer. I wanted to say two things. Chef Michauxnee, our producer has made it clear it's her turn and that Doug has been hogging you. In addition, my mother has informed me that when we come back to visit family in the Bay Area, we may be seeing you before we see them. I just wanted
always welcome. Always welcome. This year, I'm going to open my home up Christmas for folks who don't have anywhere to go and come enjoy this with me. I do have a little work in the morning, but I usually do that for Thanksgiving. And I wasn't in the mood, and I was cooking a lot, and I was super, super busy. And I'm taking some time to kind of love on myself and my family and those who might need it. I did a big job for the city of Oakland the other day, and I have some ingredients left over. I overbought some things. And so Christmas Eve after the 49er game, we're going to get some shrimp and grits together in small containers and hand them out to the unsheltered here in Hayward, and some over by where my grandmother lives in Oakland on 101st and International Boulevard. And just kind of love on folks and give out some socks that I have.
Thank you for them. You know, just you've always talked about your heart for the people, and it's very evident. And even as you're starting to talk today, I want to acknowledge your sisterhood as you mentioned stepping in the gap for a friend that's going through a tough time. So again, I also heard that you're taking time off to love yourself. Yes. What are you looking forward to doing during that time?
Nothing.
That's right.
I'm actually going to take that time to focus on rewriting and creating the handbook for the Burgess brothers, and what our operating manual basically for them and what we're going to be doing and how things need to be handled and ran.
Okay.
And working on the funding for the restaurant. I'm almost done with everything. There's a few things that I need to tweak it before I present it to the board for the actual funding. And nothing, a lot of nothing. I'm purging my house right now. I try to do it every year. I didn't get a chance to last year. I worked all the way through to the end of the year, even though I said I wasn't going to. So I've been building up my prep room here in the house and creating spaces intentionally in my house that how I want to see them. I just redid and redecorated the bathroom and did some things in the living room, just little things to make my home appealing for me to want to sit in it. So that's it. Nothing. I plan to do a whole lot of nothing.
Well, I'm very serious about as soon as this show is over, I'm gonna stop by the ATM because I'm gonna come with cash this time.
You don't have to have cash. This is a small portion of what I've got for myself. This is nothing compared to what we got going on here.
Wait a minute, Chef Michauxnee. I've been having to turn the camera off because I've been going like this. I didn't want to. But I want to share something with you. Do you remember this?
Yes. Oh, wow. You got it.
A friend of mine got this for me, and moving into next year, this is what I'm going to have behind me. Because, you okay?
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. A friend of mine got this for me, and this shows where people are coming together who have totally different ideology on how we should we have to stop in-house fighting. And audience, I'm sharing that's nationwide and several other countries. If Malcolm X and Martin Luther King can come together, so can we. United, we're powerful. Divided, we're defeated. So
I agree. We also have to protect each other and ourselves and our spaces as well.
Well, I wanted to put that out there, Chef Michauxnee, because during this election, some people's feelings got hurt. And
it happens.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we need to come together for the betterment of Oaklanders, especially the Black and brown population that has been devastated financially over the last 2 decades. But to that end, please text me that address so I can get my. You can start putting mine in the bowl now. I'm coming through.
I'm gonna put it in the bowl to show you guys what it looks like.
Wait a minute, Dr. Ashley, as we say in the hood, I'm coming through, homie.
I got a small bowl here. I'm just gonna plate this up real quick.
Yeah. I'm coming through. I saw that, girl. Woo! My goodness.
I know it's gonna be.
I can imagine her boil doesn't taste like any boil. It's a boil.
No, we're not playing around. So,
as we get ready to wrap it up, because we are scheduled to be off at 5:59 or 4:59. Dr. Ashley, thank you for all that you do.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Audience, let me be clear when I say this. Our mental health is a needed tool in our bodies because you can be strong as an ox. You can be fit as Hercules. But if you're not up for the mental part of life, you will fail. And it can be devastating, causing depression, anxiety, suicide thoughts that you can't make it. And just to elaborate briefly on that, Dr. Ashley, before we close out.
Sure, absolutely. Just this is
in this last election, there was many people who told me that if the other party win, I was doomed. And I'm not going to get into that, but you have to stand on your beliefs of making it better for everybody. There are politicians out there who take care of a few people. But we want a politician out there who can reach out and touch the lives of so many lives that have been left behind, forgotten, devastated with economic lack of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Schools have been closed down in this city in areas in which they are mostly needed. We have a new progressive elected group of people who want to identify and resolve the problems that plague not just the white community or the Black community, the Hispanic community, but all communities. And so if you don't leave here with nothing else from Doug Blacksher in 2022, going into next year, every vote counts. Shane Tao won by 688 votes. Or 600,
Wow.
less than 700 votes.
Mm-hmm.
That shows you that every vote counts.
Mm-hmm.
Put that in, Dr. Ashley, Chef
Yes,
Misha.
Chef. Yeah, I want to hear. I want to see Chef Michauxnee. There it is.
There
Wow.
we go. There we went here. There we go.
Wow.
So we got to pull this down so you can see this. This looks good.
Is that mine?
But you
Is
might
that
have to
mine?
hurry to get here.
Wow.
Chef
Wow.
Misha,
Wow.
is that
So
mine?
we did this. We did this in the short period of time that we were talking.
Wait a minute.
It's done.
Is
That's
that mine?
yours, Doug. Doug, let her talk. That's yours. Don't worry.
It's all yours, Doug. There's some more to pop. Put it all up together for you.
Right.
It's all yours.
I'm claiming that.
I
It's
know.
all yours.
Oh,
I actually have to go back out towards your way. So if you want me to drop it off, I will.
Look at.
Now, when is Miss Kim coming back so I can make sure she gets fed
exercise
now?
right now because I'm eating all that.
Back now. She actually put in the comments, Doug, then drop it off at my house. So Kim is back. It's now. It's again, Chef Michauxnee. I want to ask you a technical question, but my dear mother is reminding me that we should be doing Christmas in the Bay Area, but we're staying in LA this time. But she said not only are we coming to visit you, but we're also going to be volunteering with you. So that's
that would be so amazing.
So just
that
so
would be so amazing.
Both and, but she's sending me some text messages. You should have gone.
Let her know that I do travel. I have some folks I need to come down and see where you're at.
Okay.
And I do owe some folks some love down there. So I might make a trip down there in January. That may be one of the things I do is actually leave the house.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're always welcome here as well.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I always appreciate being a guest on your show. It really is a grand opportunity for me to learn and grow and experience myself in a different light.
Well, folks, as we close out this show today, we've had, once again, a star-studded group of people, guests. First off, newly elected, Kalimah Priforce, newly elected city council for the city of Emeryville, California. Johnny Ramachandran, District 4, Oakland. Kevin Jenkins, District 6. Pamela Price, newly elected first African-American woman DA in Oakland, Alameda County. And last, but definitely not least, Shane Tao, winning by less than 700 votes, who I will personally, over the next 4 and before she's going to win again, make sure that all people in Oakland have opportunities that have not been in the past. On that note, Dr. Ashley and Chef Michauxnee, thank you for coming on the show today.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
I look for women. I got the porch light on, so just call when you pull up. You don't even have to get out the car. I'll come running out.
I'm on my way.
Happy holidays, Chef Michauxnee. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys take care.
Okay,
thank you too, Chef Michauxnee. Talk to you soon.
Ooh, Doug, you gotta be spoiled, but you deserve it.
Oh my God! And I got wait a minute, and I got some good ass.
And you have
good wine. Pardon me, audience. I have some good wine.
You are going to have a wonderful evening, and what a way to close out a great show and a great year. So again, a great time to acknowledge Mr. Donnie Glover. Thank you for your platform, blackusa.news. Audience, we have, you've been loyal to us and we appreciate that, but we also have some great sister shows. Chap and Friends on Monday, Party Marty Let's Talk on Tuesdays, Black USA Crypto News with Kamal Hubbard on Fridays. On Saturdays, the Blackout Live from New York with Tashmir. Thanks again for tuning in tonight, Tashmir. And on Sundays, we have 60 Minutes in Black USA with Michael Haney, and also tons of programming hosted by Donnie Glover and our other colleagues. So just tune in to be informed. Also, visit friends of the show on Instagram. We have the handle @millennial.democrats, as well as @themasked-law-student. So hearing about the Democratic perspective from a millennial lens, as well as a Black man's perspective on law and what's happening in his experience in law school. In addition to the shows that I mentioned, I also want to invite you, if you're interested, to join our advertising family or to be possibly considered to be a guest on the show. Reach out to us via email, bbrt2021@hotmail.com. Include in your email details about your company, its website, and thank you in advance for submissions for vetting consideration. Additional shows, again, People Over Politics, Date 'em All, Sis. Again, Doug, I'm behind. I have to catch up on these shows, and what the holidays are a great time to binge and do that. Shared Space, Community Connections, Resources, and Gardening, Frontline News, Troy Rawlings, The Beverly Smith Show. As well, it sounds like too, last week I mentioned Driving While Black, Michael Thrash, Taylor County TX. And I think we had an update that last month they went to trials started. I can verify that with our producer, but I think that was the update. But always we're keeping abreast of what's happening and hope to have them back on the show, as well as another hashtag that is close to our heart, Stand with Carlton of Raleigh, NC 2022. Thank you for joining us today for our last show of the year. Next week, we plan to replay this 1-hour special Christmas holiday cooking show with the busy wife chef, Michauxne'e Olier, and follow her on Instagram, hashtag the busy wife 2017, as well as that being her handle. Have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's audience, and we look forward to seeing you back January 5th and every subsequent Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Doug?
Audience, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for tuning in. And remember, together, we can listen, we can learn, and we can share, because I know you care. This is Doug Blacksher and Dr. Ashley Coleman of the Black Business Roundtable. God bless and good night. Thank you.